Hello, and welcome to Real Person Reviews. I'm Sam, and I'm a real person. And today I want to talk to you about Castlevania Advanced Collection. Uh, it's a multi-platform thing. I played it on my Xbox Series X, but you can get it on a lot of stuff. And I'm not here to talk about each individual game in this collection. If you want to see reviews on those, I'll link those in the description below. But I want to talk about this collection more as like a package and what it can do for you, especially if you already have the games that are already here. Um, so, without further ado, let's get into it. So, Castlevania Advance Collection is primarily a collection of the three Game Boy Advance games. Castlevania Game Boy Advance games, obviously, which is Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, and Aria of Sorrow. And what this is kind of supposed to do is not only bring those together, but also puts them up on the big screen, which is, I think, is a nice touch to make it so it's easier to have on modern displays. You don't have to get weird, like, Game Boy Player or, get ROMs or some weird thing like that. You can just get them here officially in a nice, clean package. And again, playable on multiple systems. But instead of just putting these games on here, which they aren't like really enhancing them in any way in terms of like, they're not like remaking things or trying to like trying to change anything. They're trying to basically play exactly the way they would. But they add in some extra features here to try to make it more worth your while. So obviously on top of, just being bigger and on your big screen, whatever, modern displays and controllers and things, it has kind of some emulation type features where you can rewind, you can do save states, you actually can save replays in here as well. And you can remap your buttons to be what you want. It's actually a little handy, like, thing to, like, tell you, like, a little, like, I think it's called a gadget that shows you, like, certain things if you have or haven't collected things when you're defeating enemies. There's also, like, a encyclopedia in here as well, which I actually found pretty helpful for, particularly in Circle of the Moon, because there's not really, like, a good way to, like, track the things I'm, like, killing in there most of the time. So I'm like, well, what are these enemies? What do they drop? What do they experience? What are these, like, things I should be looking for here? Or, like, the card combos. Instead of having to go online and scour that, you can just look through there. That's pretty handy. I like some of those features. I didn't really use Rewind, but I did like the encyclopedia bit there. And of course, obviously, the nice thing about playing Circle of the Moon on here is that it's not on a dim Game Boy Advance screen, so it's pretty light. You can see what's happening in the game. That's pretty nice. So definitely a big boost for that game in particular. And also just being able to play all three of them together. They've added achievements on here as well, for just something you can kind of like go for if you're into that sort of thing. They also have a little art gallery that shows off some just artwork made for the games and some of the boxes and instruction manuals for them. There's also a music player where you can go through and listen to all the music from the games, and also even set up your own little playlist in there if you'd like. Actually, on top of this, while it has these three Game Boy Advance games, there's also a bonus game on here. Which is Dracula X, I believe it is, the Super Nintendo game, which was like, I don't know, there was like the other version of it that was supposed to be better. This was like kind of like a Super Nintendo version of that, because the other thing was like I don't even remember what the fuck that came out of, some disc-based thing. PC Engine or some shit. Something that wasn't real big or popular, and so, like, at least, I don't know. This is basically just kind of throwing you scraps here. Spoiler, I don't really have a review of that in the description because I wasn't able to beat it. It was hard. So if I eventually do beat it, that'll end up down there, but I didn't. But it's more of a nice little bonus thing to be like, oh, I finished playing all these games. While this doesn't feel like it has much of anything to do with them, really, and plays fairly differently because it's more of like a classic-style Castlevania rather than this more newer, Metroidvania style. It is a nice little bonus. It's just there to have something extra. So in case you already do have these games, there's something for you to do that's like a little different. Maybe it'll get you interested in some of the classic styles. Maybe you go back and get the classic, whatever, the regular just Castlevania Anniversary Collection thing. I don't know. That's what I think they were trying to do with that. And it's so it's got a number of things for you to like do. like look at and whatever. And just some nice modernization features. Wow, this is an incredibly short review, and I'm not talking about each individual game. I really didn't have many problems with them, other than I will say, near the end of Aria of Sorrow, there's an area where basically the game started kind of like crashing on me. I guess if you leave it on too long, that can happen. That's like a thing in the original game that would have been nice if they found a way to patch that out, but they're just running the original game, so it still does that, which is kind of a problem. Something like that maybe could have been fixed and it would have been fine. I also found the little widget thing for like, hey, a thing popping up every time to see like, did you get the thing you need from this enemy? Just coming up on the side of the screen is annoying. I guess I have different filters or not filters, but different like screen things of like, you want it to stretch across your screen or be like, fill the screen but be like regular, or like do you want it to be like pixel perfect, whatever. They have that there too, the options, but there's like, I don't know, there's not like a lot different here. It's not a remake or anything of these games. It's not doing anything like that or anything spectacular. If you already own all of these games, are like, and you can still play them right now, there's really not a lot of reason to get this collection, I guess is what I'm saying. This is for people who wanted to be able to play these on the big screen, who have, which I guess you've had more opportunity to do this with some other methods, even like Virtual Console and stuff. But it's a nice option to have. Again, if you want it on the big screen, if you want a modern display stuff, if you're going to be streaming or capturing it, it's probably an easier option. And it also just makes it more available for more people. And that's ultimately a good thing because these games are good. It's a pretty solid collection of games here. Interestingly, when I replayed it, I actually ended up liking, like, spoiler here, I guess you'll see, because if you're looking at those original reviews, I ended up liking Circle of the Moon a lot more this time around than I did originally. I also, not enough where I wanted to necessarily do a re-review, like this close, but, like, probably not worth doing a whole re-review of that, even though I like it a lot more. I didn't like Harmony of Dissonance quite as much as I did as last time, so those kind of feel like they've almost, like, flopped places a little bit. But Aria of Sorrow is still great, and, like, basically, yeah, this collection is very good. I think that comparing it to, I already reviewed, in actual time, I've already reviewed the Dominus collection with the DS games, and I think that one is probably a stronger package than this one, in terms of, like, what you're getting. But in terms of, like, being pretty consistent throughout, I don't know, this one is a very good package, too. I think they're pretty comparable, and they're not, like, super expensive. I think they're good things to have, and if you like one collection, you'll probably like the other, so we'll throw that out there. But just for fun, which of these Game Boy Advance Castlevania games is your favorite? Mine is still Aria of Sorrow, but if you want to like do your little lists and rankings and why, that would be kind of fun. It's always fun to hear, listen to people's opinions on that. And if you compare this collection to the Dominus collection, or even the Classic collection, which I will get to, the Anniversary collection, that's what it is. It's not Classic collection, it's Anniversary collection. I'll get there someday. When you're comparing those, which of these collections do you think is like the best, and which one is your favorite, and like why? That would be fun to have a back and forth on that. But that's all there is to hammer about for this, I think. Pretty simple. It's good. If you like the games already, it's good. If you want a way to play these games, it's nice to have them all here in this package at this price point. And a few extra features there will make it just kind of handy to have. And it's just nice to see Castlevania games. These old ones are still playable today. That's always good. Just make it more available, more accessible to more people. Yeah. I think that is all. And so, yes, I'm going to... Nice. The thing I will say is I am in the middle of trying to replay Symphony of the Night because I originally played it and then stopped halfway through. So we'll see how far I get this time. But I would love to have that review out and check out the other collection, too. I have a bunch of Castlevania games. I just, they're going to get harder and harder to beat, I think, because these ones are probably the easier ones. So once I get to those other ones that aren't like, hey, you can level up all the time, it's going to be really hard. Like I said, I kind of gave up. I didn't even beat the first fucking level of Dracula X, so I'm not holding out much hope that I'm going to beat all these games, but at least I'll be able to play enough to talk about the collection, if nothing else, I guess.